After begging my wife for months, and trust me guys, it was like a full-time job, I finally convinced her to get me an RTX 4070 for Christmas. I was so hyped to experience the hyper-realistic graphics and performance that I've been seeing all over the internet, but then out of nowhere, on January 17th, 2024, Nvidia drops the RTX 40 Super! And I'm like, why did I just wait a little bit longer? Oh, whatever, you can't change what's written in your fate. So forget the past and let's focus on the present, right? Do you need to ditch your non-Super RTX 4070 for the Super version? Or should you just stick with what you have? Or if you don't know either, which one should you buy? And is the price worth the difference? Well, that's why I'm here to put these four behemoths head to head and find out which one is truly worth your hard-earned cash. In today's video, we're going to compare the RTX 4070 and its Super siblings in terms of gameplay, performance, and graphics and all other juicy details that matter the most. And I'm pretty sure by the end of this video, you'll have a clearer picture than that of an 8K display. So let's cut the crap and jump right into it to see if Nvidia has truly outdone themselves with the RTX 4070 Super. In my opinionated opinion, yes, I know I'm opinionated, a graphics card is nothing but a piece of metal and plastic if it can't handle the real deal gaming. And when we're talking about Nvidia's top tier cards, we all know that they are meant for high-end gaming experiences. For both the RTX 4070 and the Super version are considered the top-of-the-line graphics cards. They're incredibly similar in terms of gameplay, but as always, there has to be a favorite, and in this case, it's without a doubt the RTX 4070 Super. Don't get me wrong, the RTX 4070 is still an absolute beast, but the Super version is a bit more, how should I put it? Super. It's like the difference between having a four-wheel drive vehicle and driving a tank. Both will get you through the rough terrain, but one just does it much better and has way more power. The new RTX 4070 Super is also available for gaming PCs now, so if you're building a new gaming PC, then definitely consider getting the Super version for the ultimate gaming experience. But it doesn't mean that the non-Super version is just a waste of money. I mean, like, it's still great, I got one. Thank you, wife, I love you. And the price point is better. Like, if you're not planning on playing games at max settings or doing heavy video editing or 3D rendering, then the non-Super version is more than enough for your needs. But let's take a look at the numbers, because let's face it, numbers don't lie. Unless you're talking about my math scores, then let's not look at those. In terms of headwear, the non-Super and the Super, the RTX 4070 has 8 Lovelace 29 T-flops of shader cores, while the RTX Super has 36 T-flops, which I'm pretty sure is more than 29? And when it comes to ray tracing cores, the Super has a whopping 82 T-flops compared to the non-Super's mere 67 T-flops. That's like if you compared the driving skills of those in the Fast and Furious at 2 times speed with Grandma's driving skills. There is a difference. The Super just blows the non-Super out of the water. Also, the tensor cores of the Super are out of this world. Literally, they use it in space. Isn't that neat? With 560 AI tops compared to the RTX 4070's not so impressive 466 AI tops. While both cards have the same amount of VRAM of 12 GB GDDR6X, they even have the same boost clock speed of 2475 MHz and the same memory speed of 21 GB per second. But what Nvidia really changed here is the Cuda cores, or should I say the brain of the cards. The RTX 4070 has 5,888 Cuda cores, oh my gosh! While the Super version has pushed it up to 7,168. Oh, I'm gonna pass out now. I'm no math genius, clearly, but that's almost a whopping 20% increase, right? If you don't know what Cuda cores are, then let me explain to you in a semi-non-nerd language. They're the primary component that makes your graphics card powerful and efficient. So more Cuda cores equals better gaming experiences. Aside from having 1,280 extra cores and the other computational components, the RTX 4070 Super is also a bit more power hungry compared to the non-Super version. It has a TDP of 220 watts, while the RTX 4070 has a TDP of 200 watts. But I think it is a fair trade-off for the significant boost in performance and gameplay experience. If you have a good PC with a good power supply, then there's no reason to not go for the Super version. I love saying it like that. I think that's enough talk about numbers and specs, so let's shift our good old focus to what we really care about, the graphics. Why else would we buy a top-tier graphics card? Right? The RTX 4070 and Super both have the same display outputs, so there's nothing different to talk about here. But what's interesting is the graphics performance of both cards. And in this department, they're like two brothers on steroids, you can barely tell them apart. Both cards can easily handle games at 4K resolution, with a frame rate of up to 240 Hz, and even support 8K resolution at 60 Hz with the DSC, which stands for something super complicated that I can't even begin to pronounce, so I'm not gonna try. Let's be real here, most of us don't have 8K displays, so let's focus on the good old 4K. And that's not bad at all, okay? With both cards, you can crank up all your your settings to the max and it will still run smooth like butter, and with HDR high dynamic range, colors more vibrant and lifelike than ever before. But it doesn't mean that these cards aren't different. At 1080p and 1440 pixel resolutions, the RTX 4070 Super I think has a slight edge over the RTX 4070. The graphics are a bit more crisp and clear, and there's less stuttering in high demand areas in games. It's not a 9-day difference, but it's there if you look closely. So if you're a competitive gamer and want the absolute best performance at lower resolutions, then the Super version is definitely worth considering. But if you're like me and just want to play games with all the eye candy turned on at 4K or above, then both cards are pretty much neck and neck. So, how about ray tracing? After all, it's the buzz in gaming these days. Unless you've been living under a rock and you have heard about this AI-powered feature, then welcome back to civilization! How did it feel living in a cave? Bet it was pretty cold, right? Lots of dirt and worms. Anyways, I'm kidding. In all seriousness, ray tracing is the future of gaming graphics, and both the RTX 4070 and the Super version use the latest and greatest Ada Lovelace architecture to bring you the most realistic lighting, reflections, and shadows in games. Just imagine playing Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition or Alan Wake 2 with full ray tracing enabled. It's like having a movie playing right in front of your eyes. The future is here and it is beautiful. But again, there are some slight differences between the RTX 4070 and the Super version when it comes to ray tracing. While both cards can handle ray tracing with ease, the Super version has a bit more oomph under the hood, if you know what I mean. As I said earlier, it has 82 T-flops of ray tracing cores compared to the non-Super 67 T-flops. This means that the Super version can handle more complex ray tracing effects without any performance drops. So, if you want to experience the full potential of ray tracing, then I would just go ahead and splurge on the Super version. It's worth it, trust me. I mean, I won't lie, I do love my RTX 4070, but gosh, I want the Super so bad. So let's discuss DLSS.
That's nerd talk for deep learning super sampling.
It's the cherry on top of an already delicious cake. Again, if you're not familiar with DLSS, then let me break it down for you. It's Nvidia's AI-powered technology that uses machine learning to upscale lower resolution images into high resolution images without any noticeable loss in visual quality. Basically, it makes your games look better while also improving performance. Both the RTX 4070 and Super versions have DLSS 3.0, which can upscale to 4K resolution and even up to 8K with AI reconstruction. Notably in graphically intensive battles like Avatar 2 or Forza Horizon 5, DLSS can boost performance by almost 40%, and that's a pretty good number. That's like a huge difference. That can mean the world in competitive gaming or just smooth gameplay without any frame drops. In this department, both cards are pretty much on par with each other since they have the same DLSS version. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. And speaking about virtual reality, both cards can handle virtual reality gaming with ease. They both have the same VRAM, so there's no advantage on that front, but with an increased base clock of 1.9 compared to RTX's 1.92. The Super version may have a slight advantage in virtual reality performance, but again, it's not something you'll notice unless you're a VR enthusiast. So in my opinion, both cards are pretty much equal in this area. But what about thermal performance? Because after all, nobody wants a graphics card that sounds like an airplane or your grandpa's old truck. We don't want something loud, we want something silent but deadly. Well, both Nvidia cards have the same maximum GPU temperature of 90 degrees Celsius, which is pretty standard for a high-performance graphics card. They even have the same video playback power of 16 watts and required system power of 650 watts. However, the only difference comes in idle power and average gaming power. The non-Super RTX 4070 has a slightly lower idle power of 10 watts compared to Super's versions of 11 watts. Similarly, the average gaming power for the non-Super version is 186 watts, while the Super version has an average gaming power of 200 watts. But about graphics power, I know I've already talked about it. I would say that both cards have pretty much the same power requirements. From the design perspective, I can't really tell much of a difference between the RTX 4070 and the Super version. They both have sleek and modern design with a black and silver color scheme that gives them a premium look. Both cards have the same dimensions, so they will fit comfortably into most PC cases without fighting for space, which is nice. With a 2-slot design, you can easily pair these cards with a powerful CPU and RAM without any bottlenecking issues. As for the display outputs, both versions have 2 HDMI ports and 3 display ports, which is more than enough for multi-monitor setups, and you won't believe that they support up to 4 monitors at once with HDCP 2.3 support. It's a double cherry on top for those who love to stream or record gameplay.
Now let's talk about the most important part.
The price. I'm sure this is what you've been waiting for. Now what I'm about to say might shock you, but hear me out. Nvidia is dropping the price. Yes, they're dropping the price of their non-Super version. At the release of the RTX 4070, it cost my good old wife $600. I'm sorry, sweetie, I love you. Mwah! Which you can now get for $550. I mean, it doesn't seem like a big difference, but that's a big drop. And if you're on budget, every dollar counts. On the other hand, the Super version is priced at $599, which is only $49 more expensive than the non-Super version. But, compared to the RTX 4070 Ti Super, which is priced at $800, and RTX 4090 at $1,599, these two versions I think are in the sweet spot. They offer top-of-the-line performance at relatively reasonable price compared to their higher-end counterparts. So which one should you really go for? The RTX 4070 or its supercharged aforementioned brother, the RTX 4070 Super. If you're a hardcore gamer who loves the absolute best performance and wants to future-proof your rig as much as possible, then splashing out the extra cashola for the Super version might be the way to go. With more Cuda cores, better ray tracing capabilities, and faster clock speeds, it's a powerhouse that can handle anything you throw at it, no matter how demanding. Whoa, I sound pretty freaking awesome. Anyways, if you're on a tight budget or already own an RTX 4070 like moi, then sticking with the non-super version might be the smarter choice. It might not have the same bells and whistles as its big brother, but it's still an incredibly powerful graphics card that can handle modern games with ease, and with its recent price drop, I think it's an unbeatable value for its performance. Whether you go for the RTX 4070 or the Super version, one thing is for sure, you won't be disappointed with the level of performance and quality these cards offer. I hope this video has cleared up all the fog around these two Nvidia graphics cards. And now you can make a wise decision based on your needs and your budget. And if you think I missed something that's worth mentioning, then please do let me know down in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with these GPUs. And let me know if you've also begged your wife or your girlfriend for a graphics card. Let's talk about it. Anyways, as I always say, if you like what you've seen, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our gaming channel for more awesomely amazing gaming content from Gaming Mindset.